Hey family, it is your favorite life and relationship strategist. I am MarshaunO out here today, and I just wanted to come and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking in my content, and especially those of you who are sharing the content. I thank you so very much. And today I wanted to talk to you guys about how to encourage your spouse, how to encourage your mate. I want to go ahead and give you 6 ways to encourage your spouse or encourage your mate, because it is very important for us to make sure that we are acknowledging our spouses, our mates, to just let them know, I see you. I see you. I'm here with you. I'm going on this walk with you. I'm going on this journey with you. And I see your progress. When I've been talking, when I've been speaking, when we've been having our conversations and trying to get to know one another on a deeper level, you've been listening to me. And for that, I want to come here and say thank you. See, not too long ago, I was actually at a conference, and I was away from my husband and my daughter for about a week. And one of the things that I did while I was gone is I wrote him a letter. And I wrote him just things that I was really appreciative of and fond of him doing, and I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged him. And so it's very simple. I wrote it on a simple sheet of paper about 10 things that I was very appreciative about him. And you know what, he's not a very expressive person, meaning he didn't jump up and be like, oh my God, thank you, this is wonderful. But he definitely read it. He definitely said thank you, and I noticed that there was a smile on his face, and he was a lot more affectionate that particular night. And that's important in my relationship, because he's not the most affectionate guy. But with that being said, one of the ways, which I just explained, but just to be very clear, one of the ways that you can show appreciation to your partner, to your spouse, is to write them a note, write them a letter about what you appreciate about him or about her. Let them know deeply how you feel, the thoughts that you've been thinking about. It could be the very big things, but definitely do not forget to include the small things, because literally it is the small things that matter. And those are the memories, those are the things that you sit down and think about, like, wow, this is why I fell in love with this person. This is why I'm very happy to have chosen him or to have chosen her, and also to have been chosen back. That is just something very small, but he actually kept the notes, because it wasn't really a letter. I know I said a letter, but he actually kept the note with the about 10 things that I wrote on there. And he kept it in a special spot, so I know that it meant something for him. And especially right afterwards when he said thank you to me, I know that that meant something for him, because I want him to know that I'm thinking about him, but I also want him to know how appreciative I am of him, of us, and the growth that we are going toward and headed toward. And if you guys have been following me for any amount of time, you guys know that we are different cultures. I'm African American, and he is Nigerian, Yoruba tribe, basically from the continent of Africa. And so we do have our differences, specifically cultural differences, but it's just the little things is my point. It's the little things that always stand out. It's the little things that you're going to think about in the moments when you're not so happy with your spouse and you're thinking, why did I marry this damn fool? Or could I have chosen better? Those are the things that you think about, and that you revel in, and just say, you know what, that was good. Yeah, that was good. This is why I chose him. This is why I chose her. So write them notes of appreciation, or just very simple. In my case, I came back off of my trip and I just handed it to him. But if there's something that you want to do, maybe you can put it in a place where he can find it, or she can find it later on, maybe under the pillow. Basically a place where you know that he or she looks often. So it could be in a suitcase, or a briefcase, or their lunch bag, or whatever it is, a place that you know that they look often, so they'll be able to find it if you do not want to just hand it to them and you want it to be more of a surprise. Just put it somewhere that you know that they're going to see it. And then, especially if they're on their way to work or on their way out of town, then they'll be able to think of you that much more often, because you actually took the time to sit down and think of them first. All right. The next thing is, it kind of goes along with the letter writing, but this one you can do verbally as well, which is literally to let them know when they did something that you liked in particular. So in my relationship, as I just mentioned, my husband is not the most affectionate type. So when he does make it a point to get out of his comfort zone, to give me hugs and to make sure that we're cuddling together and just being more affectionate, I make sure that I tell him this, because one thing that I found out and one thing that I've learned and one thing that I apply is to make sure that I'm saying these things to him, because guess what? That will get programmed in his brain for him to do it even more, even more, even more. So one of his pet peeves is he hates when dishes are in the sink. So when I get too busy, the dishes are the last thing for me to do, because I got other things in life to do. Right? But when he gets sick and tired of the dishes and he feels like I've left them in there too long, guess what? He'll just go and do them. And it's funny because a lot of times I'm feeling like, okay, today is going to be the day that I do the dishes. And I don't want to make it seem like I don't never do the dishes. I do. It's just sometimes I do let them pile up a little bit longer. And we do not have a dishwasher, so your girl be sick and tired of hand washing dishes. Okay, now can I just put it out there? Are you with me? Who's feeling me? Let me know if you're feeling me down in the comment section below about them dishes and having to hand wash them. Who's on board with me? Okay, anywho, so he'll go in there and wash the dishes, and when I get back in the house and I see that the dishes are already done, and I'm like, oh babe, thanks so much for washing the dishes. I literally was on my way to come home and clean them. And that's funny because literally I be on my way to come get them the day that he decides to clean them. So it's just funny the way that works out. But again, I make sure that I appreciate him and thank him and tell him that is something that I like, and because I know, guess what, he will do it more often. So let them know when they've done something that you like, that you appreciate, that you're happy about. The next way to encourage your spouse is to encourage them to be able to speak up, encourage them to be able to be vulnerable with you. By doing that, and how to do that, I should say, is by creating a safe place, creating a safe space. So anytime they come to you with an idea or a project, or maybe they want to walk away from their job, maybe they want to approach the boss for some more money, whatever it is, right? They're coming to seek out your opinion. Or maybe, you know what, this very thing that is making them vulnerable, that might even make them cry when they tell you about it, they're able to actually express this to you because you have made it a welcoming place, a non-judgmental place, a place where it's safe to open up, so they can take off their mask, so you can see the true him or the true her. So create a safe place for them to be vulnerable with you. That is a way to encourage your spouse. And that's also a way to deepen your relationship. That's also a way for you to truly get to know who you laying in the bed next to. Because truth be told, all of us are growing and we're evolving and we're learning new things, and there's definitely, over the course of your relationship, you guys are going to want to do different things, whether together or even separate. Maybe you want to learn an instrument, right? Whatever it is that's floating your boat, you're consistently and constantly going through this flow with your spouse, and you're like, okay, what's actually going on today? How was your day? What are you thinking about doing? What's the next project you're working on? Right? Y'all consistently going through a flow, and you're consistently getting to know your partner on a deeper level. The more you guys do the dance together. How was your day? Asking all of those questions, right? And so if they're not able to be vulnerable with you, they're not able to come to you and say, you know what? This is actually what's happening. Or, you know why I get so quiet when you do X? It's because this is what happened to me in the past. And because this happened to me in the past, anytime you do X, it triggers me to go into that little girl state or into that little boy state. And I don't really know how to handle it. This is why I act the way that I do, or react the way that I do. But they're only able to come and share these vulnerable things with you if you have created a safe space for him or for her. Me and my husband have completely created safe places with each other, because whenever I go to him with something that I'm vulnerable about, or that I'm feeling like, how is it gonna take this? Am I gonna be judged by this? I have to say, now I don't even have that feeling of how is he going to react, or how is he going to look at me? How is he going to judge me? Because we've both created a safe space with each other where we're able to come to one another and just literally be ourselves, let down our mask. If we need to cry in that moment, we can cry in that moment. If we're sharing something really deep about our childhood that is affecting us now in our adulthood, there's no judgment there. It's more understanding. It's more of, thank you. I see you. Now I understand. Thank you for sharing that with me. Which, by the way, is another part. To say thank you. This totally is a way to encourage your spouse, because not only are you encouraging them, you are acknowledging him, or you are acknowledging her, that you see her for who she or who he truly is. That mask is something that many of us need to work on to get rid of. It's taking over our relationships. It's taking over our relationships because our partners, our spouses, are no longer doing the dance with us. They're no longer understanding why we act the way we act, why we react the way we are reacting. Who are we? And so anytime you say thank you, you are encouraging your spouse to open up to you even more. Because you know what? That was a tough thing to talk about. That is something that you went through. I'm so sorry that you went through that. And now we're going to talk about how we're going to work to help you heal from going through such a vulnerable state. Guess what? It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault that happened to you. And now we're going to figure out a better way to get you healed, to help you become stronger in that area, to help you not be triggered when I do X. Because that person that did that to you is not me. And I want, if I ever do say a thing to you again, that you actually see me and not your perpetrator. Right? Creating a safe space, saying thank you, goes so, oh my gosh, it goes so far in your relationship. So far in your relationship. The next thing is to be more present. That is a way to encourage your spouse to open up and keep talking to you. So me and my husband, we actually have a rule in our relationship, because cell phones are so prevalent, just the social media, whatever stuff. And we have a rule in our relationship that when one of us are speaking, and it's not like real quick, like a sentence, we actually need to talk to one another. We got to put that cell phone down. Literally, you have to take it out of your hand. And both of us see it as being disrespectful to the other person when they do not put it down. Because social media really is taking over our lives. It is becoming a very addictive thing. And I really can't wait for the numbers, what the statistics are in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and how social media has been a great thing, but also a bad thing. I'm waiting for the numbers, because I know that so many people are getting addicted to being on social media that we are living in our virtual worlds more freely and openly than we are in our real life worlds, than we are with our spouses, than we are with our children. So we all have to make a conscious effort to make our spouses that priority. And so in our relationship, and me and my husband's relationship, we make it a priority that whenever it is not a simple, I need to tell you one or two things, I need to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with you, you got to put down that phone. You got to put down that phone. And it's a mutual thing. It's a mutual thing, because I need you to be present for me. He needs me to be present for him. That is the only way I'm going to truly understand. That's the only way I'm going to truly hear what he is trying to tell me. Because otherwise I'm distracted. And whenever somebody has their phone in their hand, just think about it. Just think about this. Anytime you're out with somebody and they have that phone in their hand, and you guys are trying to have a conversation, How respected do you feel? How important do you feel to the other person? How worthy do you feel to the other person when they're consistently holding this device in their hand, and anytime it buzzes during your conversation, they're like, oh, excuse me, and pick it up, or just pick it up and look at it? It's because they're not totally present with you. We have to learn how to cultivate our relationships. We have to learn how to encourage our spouses. We have to learn how to be there present for our spouses, and also for ourselves. Because later on, guess what? They might ask you about said thing. And what did you think about said thing? And it's very irritating. It's very irritating when you have to repeat yourself because the person was not being present with you in that moment. I've done it. Me and my husband have both done it. What about you? Have you done it? I'm sure most of you out there are guilty of this very thing, specifically with the mobile device in your hand when somebody's trying to have a conversation with you. I'm bringing up your spouse, but it could be your siblings, it could be your friends, it could be your co-workers. Especially if somebody is trying to have a heart-to-heart with you, give them the common courtesy, give them the respect to just put your phone away for those 10 minutes, those 30 minutes, that hour. Your relationship will deepen so much more if you just become present. So now, how are you encouraging your spouse? If you need help encouraging your spouse, if you need a step-by-step encouraging your spouse, I am totally here to help you out, to create that plan for you. Let's talk about working one-on-one so you can really identify how to improve your relationship. Literally improve your relationship so you can go from where you're at today to the relationship that you truly want to be at in the next 6 months, in the next year. Let's figure out a way to work together so we can help cultivate the relationship that you truly want, that you truly need. Go ahead and reach out to me, reply below, or you can send me a private message on Facebook Messenger if you're there, on YouTube, or you can send me an email at MarshaunOlanio.com, or you can hit me up on my website at www.MarshaunOlanio.com. I look forward to hearing Anthony, delete that. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to helping you out. I look forward to cultivating this new relationship that you want. I love you guys, and I will talk to you very soon. See you soon.